Welcome to the CFG Game Cast, episode 246, a weekly podcast created by streamers and gamers alike to discuss the latest gaming topics from the previous week. We stream a new episode every week and release it on all podcasting services, so do us a favor and show us some love by liking, following, subscribing, or reviewing on our Twitch page or YouTube page, or go to our main website, comfreaksandgeeks.com, to not miss an episode. I am Smitty2447 and we are missing Mr. CFG. However, I'm here with my amazing co-host, PopNoTarts. How's your week been, Pop?
The week's been pretty chill. I can't complain. The weather has been surprisingly lovely. It's been hot a couple of days, but not too terrible. Um, as I mentioned, I think the last time, because I wasn't here last week, but the week
Mm-hmm.
before, I am on summer break, so I do have a lot more free time on my hands to play different games and things. I haven't really played much today outside of doing my dailies and things. I'm more
Mm-hmm.
so taking it easy with just kind of doing builds and things that I kind of slacked off on, trying to catch up with other games I was trying to play. Still playing Warriors Abyss.
Yes.
Um I don't know how many runs you've done, Smitty, but I'm working on getting the trophy where it's just like win it with 30 characters, and I'm like, I think I'm halfway. The PlayStation tells you like like what percent you're at, but I'm at like 50 something percent of the way done with that. So
Nice.
I will let you know when I've platted that game. I just the only trophy that I'm just not too sure of is just like you have to lose 30 times, and I'm just like, how am I gonna lose if all these
Like, my
characters are so
spirit won't allow me to do
strong?
that.
I'm like, I'm literally just gonna go to the boss and just blow up. I don't know. It's just
What's the highest traversal level that you've done or that you've gotten to?
I haven't done those yet, only because I don't know if the trophy is required for them. I'm more so
I
working
see.
through trophies, and then I'm gonna do the traversal. I want to, but I'm just like, you know what? If I don't get to the 30 losses before the traversal, I wouldn't feel bad losing on the traversal levels because those
Right.
are supposed to be harder.
Yeah, and they are.
Oh, I know it's
The
Code
highest one
Techno
I've
and Team
beaten
Ninja.
is Traversal 2. So
God, and isn't it like 5 of them, something like
no,
that?
there's like 9 of them.
There's more.
Yes. There are so many.
Is
Oh
that
my
what that
god.
update was?
Well, the update
God.
brought those new characters from I think it was Samurai Warriors or one of them. It did bring in some new characters. And they've had I've been loving the updates that they've been doing and stuff like that.
Oh
Again,
yeah,
I
the free updates
enjoyed
have
the
been a ton of fun.
yeah, like the game is just so much fun. I love it. I can't stop playing it. Once I get going, I'm just like I'm in there. I know that I haven't tried it out yet. There's like a new like torment soul like where you can record like ghosts of your runs, and I think you try to beat your own runs or something like that. I haven't tried it yet.
Hmm.
Yeah. But the updates have been meaty and whatnot. And I know too, especially with the fact that you're over there and you're in summer break mode now, doing that stuff. There's a lot of things to wrap up. I know too, you've been having issues with the PC as well. I know those struggles. So I
I'll have my
totally
new one
understand.
soon. Before
Yes.
the year is up, mark my words, y'all will see my model again.
I
I'm
love it.
not doing the PNG on purpose.
Yeah, no,
It'll
no. And
probably be
again,
after TwitchCon though, because I don't know. It depends. If I luck out and get grants or like extra pay or something, or some miracle by the grace of God happens.
right.
We never know.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. But at least you got a
I'm just glad that
plan.
my PC is young enough. I can still game on it. I can stream
Right,
on it. I don't do both at the same time because I fear that me using my model just my GPU might hate me a little bit if
right,
I try to do too much at once. But well, it also depends on the game. Like I can, as long as it's nothing that came out and needs like a 30 series or higher, I
right,
should be okay.
right. That's true. No, good. But for myself, and I've been busy. I think what was it? I was on last week, but like I had missed a couple of weeks. We were here at Level Up, and that was a ton of fun. If you haven't had a chance to check out that episode, I highly recommend checking out that episode on YouTube or the podcasting platforms. And then I went to Kansas City. Again, huge thanks to Vegas Inferno for and NASCAR for inviting us out there. Getting Kansas City Pioneers, their NASCAR team, showing us around, having some things, and we got to collab with them over at Price Choppers, make some content over there. Go check out the races. It was dope. It was a lot of fun. Had a blast. So I haven't been doing too much gaming. I did recently have do a review on War Rats, which I enjoy that game. That's still something that's in early access and building out now, but that's a solo dev that's working on that. And then I just finished up the Precinct. I have fully digested my experience with it, so I'm working on that review. That will hopefully be out next week. So, or at least get it finished. I need to get it finished first, and then one step at a time. So overall, it's been solid. Though we finished Dave the Diver, we rolled credits on that. The Precinct, like I said. So we've been grinding. My focus though has to shift, and this isn't just to spite Day and Night. But he is a believer that I'm not going to finish these games, and for the most part, he's right. He is valid in his beliefs. But when someone fires me up, especially, and I want to do this because I love Kojima, but Death Stranding was a game that I hadn't finished. I played a little bit and just I was like, ah. But I love Kojima and I love his stories. So I was like, I have to play this game. I have to finish it. And we've got Death Stranding 2 coming out here next month as well. I believe towards the end of next month. So I've got about a month. I'm on the clock now for real. So I got to finish that game so I can pick up Death Stranding 2 and know what's going on and all that good stuff. But we shall see. But enough about our stuff and whatnot. We got to get right into the topics and jump right in to stuff. I just realized too. Actually, whoops, sorry. Actually, let me just pull up the video real quick as I start this. But as of this week, Fortnite has officially come back to Apple iPhones, iOS devices. We knew this was coming. We've kind of been following this stuff over the last 5 years. Originally, when Apple banned Epic Games from being able, they took Fortnite off the App Store. They said, "Oh nay nay." This has been a long legal battle. And essentially, what came from this is the EU implementing. Oh my goodness, I'm forgetting what the name of it was. It was something market, digital market, something. But essentially saying that you can't just have a chokehold on like storefronts and stuff like that digitally, which then opened up Fortnite and Epic Games being able to come back over in the EU. We knew that was going to eventually make its way over here to the States, and with that being precedents and setting those examples, US laws kind of followed suit within that. So Apple's been petty. I will say they've been pretty petty about this, but ultimately this comes down to them having this store and not allowing other people to have their stores, and then hiding behind, I think it's like a 30% cut of the store's profits, which obviously is going to be an issue. Well, after the pettiness and whatnot, it is finally come back. Fortnite is here, and at least for right now, it's here to stay. I would say, number one, I would get on it now. I don't play Fortnite, but I downloaded Fortnite just to have it because it's like, you know what? I didn't have it before. I don't know if it's going to be something that eventually goes away at some point in time. Who knows? Because Apple, I feel like, has been really petty throughout this process about this. But what's huge about this too is that Epic Games now is able to have their store directly on the app, so you can go directly through Epic as opposed to them having to upmark things or whatever, because of the Apple fees and whatnot. So not only that, but Epic Games, that store is also on mobile, releasing free games like it does on its PC client. And they are currently running, I believe it's a 20% off sale as a bonus for them being able to have their store open right now. So they are getting it in. Tim Sweeney, or is it Tim Sweeney, I think, is probably loving this. But this has been a mission for years now for this to come, and the fact that it's a reality right now. I want to know what everybody's thoughts are. Are you getting in on it? Does this not even care about it? What are your thoughts, Pop?
I think this is a huge win for software developers uh, on games, especially when it comes to companies like Apple, who require it's fun for one, they have to upcharge things to sell anything,
Mm-hmm.
and then two, the companies don't even get the full profit of what they would make selling their own product. So for Apple to completely fold and Epic being back on the Apple Store says a lot. To my knowledge, I think they are still duking it out with Google, but my thing
Mm-hmm.
is if the Titan Apple fell, Google is just gonna fall shortly after.
Yep.
Um I it'll be interesting. The player base will also be interesting because I think when this happened, a lot of players who were only playing on mobile could not play, and it cut down on the player base size quite a
Mm-hmm.
bit. So I'm hoping to see some people return. I think the offering free games through the store online is pretty interesting because I wonder if your PC and mobile account are connected. Can I go back and
Right.
download the game on PC? And this is just, if I'm traveling and Epic's like, oh, we have this game available for free in our store, I I'm not gonna have my tower with me if
Right.
I'm like
Yeah.
halfway across the country or something. So I am a little curious about how that will work out, but as much as I gripe about Epic and some of their things, this is a huge win for them because um, other companies should, who have those microtransactions.
Mm-hmm.
I know one of the Sonic mobile games has that, and
Yeah.
I'm hoping other even like the gotcha games. I'm not sure if they have to pay more. Uh, if they're playing, if you're playing Zenless or Honkai Star Rail on mobile, like it, I hope they step up and shut all of that down.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think this actually has bigger implications as a whole on the industry and moving forward. And we're gonna see more of this stuff because I feel like for the most part, internet and digital things and stuff like that very much are not necessarily in their infancy, but definitely in its adolescence or as an adolescence, or
Yeah.
adolescence. That's not the word. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Adolescence.
Yeah. I'm just over here making up words. Don't mind me. But like now people are saying, oh, we should probably regulate this a little bit. There's a lot of stuff that happens in this space. The only problem is that the people that are trying to regulate it don't understand what they're regulating. So them not understanding it's a weird situation to be in. And again, when it comes to the digital space and stuff like that, we see that a lot of those laws are first implemented over in the EU before they make their way over to the States. We don't really see too many of our politicians proactively looking at that, regulating the space, or what's good, what's bad, what's really happening, and whatnot. So I think this is huge to at least allow, because essentially they were running a monopoly. If you're saying to run on this device, you have to run through our store, and
Yeah.
you can't, it's like, that's just craziness. Like, I understand what you're doing, Apple, but like, come on. And they've been petty the whole time. You know what I mean? It's like, this has like actually been like a fascinating, just like case study in itself. Like the fact that Epic went and they took an ad that Apple had from back in the day that resonated with so many people, and they flipped the script back on Apple. Like that was pure theater to me. I was like, this whole thing has been absolute theater. If you have not been paying attention to it or whatever, like the last 5 years, it has been a crazy back and forth. But it's had resounding changes, in the digital space worldwide. So this is the fight that was necessary, that needed to happen. That's going to determine what the future of the digital space really looks like. So huge dub. And again, like you said, it's not like Epic Games are the hero in this. They got plenty of shenanigans that they have going on their end as well. But overall, I think this is a huge win. And you're right. This was back on top of the App Store within days. This just shows how petty Apple was. They killed an app that was making them, fist loads of dollars, and they were like, "Nah, son, you can't. What you guys are trying? Nah, son, you gone. We don't care about the money." Like that. That to me in itself is just like, man, like this this is crazy.
If Apple was really smart, they could have done, if you're playing on mobile and playing online, you just get an Apple game subscription, which
Mm-hmm.
costs, I want to say, about the same as PS. Well, actually, it might be cheaper than that because it's mobile. But either way, like all these other, to play online, with the exception of PC, like you need a subscription. I don't think you need it on PlayStation anymore because Sony surprisingly was just like, "Oh, well, I mean, if it's free to play, we won't charge you to play online," which I think
Did
is
they
pretty
not?
interesting. But
Is that not
no,
still a thing?
they really don't do that.
That's true. I mean, I have the premium uh subscription. I've just had it just because, like, I mean, the online thing, but then like with the games and stuff like that, and like I feel like I've gotten more value since they've opened up like the streaming, and like the catalog has opened up a lot more as well. I don't like the fact that they pull games um from it
Yeah.
sometimes, like Game Pass does. Like I'm not a huge fan of that. I understand. I mean, I get, but like I feel like Epic Games, like if you get it, like it should just be yours now. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
let it be a part of my
Yeah,
library.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's like don't take it away from me, dude. And like give me a limited time. That's too much pressure. Like I'm not gonna be able to do it in that much time because I got other games. Too many good games. So but yeah, I think this was huge news, obviously, and we're gonna see it. And I think the numbers. This is a huge win for Fortnite. I'm curious to see, like you were saying, Pop, in terms of, because I haven't had a chance to go in and actually look at the store and like what the process is for like obtaining the games. I think it would be smart if they were to have, and I believe somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe their focus, their store for their free games and whatnot are different from what they are on the PC. I believe, and this part I think I'm making up. I think they'd be smart if they made the free games on the mobile more mobile centric and something that was focused specifically, that was made specifically for mobile, as opposed to trying to port a game that was like made for PC and just porting it over or whatever.
Right.
Scyther says, are there any games you've bought in the last 15 years that's actually yours and not just a license to access the game, subject to be removed at any point they lose the license rights or you break their rules? You're right, Scyther. We don't own anything.
No,
And
we
they
don't own
are.
any games. Like even if you have a hard copy of it, you still don't own it because at the end of the day, the company owns the IP. So I can't be like, oh, I can't say, oh, I own Sonic Heroes on the GameCube. No, I don't. Sega owns Sonic Heroes.
Mm-hmm. And that is a hard reality to the gaming world. And I feel like they're going even further in that direction by pushing people to get digital. So now we're not even physically getting anything. And even now, if you do physically get anything, the game, you still have to download the game. You're not really physically getting anything on these cartridges or whatever. So like they've really taken the value, and I feel like it's intentionally taking the value out of physical and kind of pushing people over to the digital, which I think is going to be something that's kind of inevitable. The same as like a Game Pass and what I think Xbox and Microsoft is doing. Hey, we don't care what you play our games on. We just want you in our system. We'll give you all this great shit. You can play on a fridge. You can play on everything. You can play on everything with this. We got everything for you. So, obviously, if you position yourself to be like that, you want digital things. So, yes, we are just getting even further. I mean, not really even further because we never owned it in the first place. It's just a
Yeah.
repackaging of, hey, now you extra don't own this because you physically aren't even getting shit. So I think that's a fair point. Why bother with real things when it comes to consumerism? Let's just get people to buy the idea. Yeah, exactly. I mean, essentially, it's NFTs. But you get the ability to play something. It does something. There's utility to this NFT. But do you own it? No, you don't. Your dreams will stay free. How long do you think your dreams will stay free? I'm
Forever.
not sure what that means.
I know. I don't know what that means.
Like I feel like we got real deep there. But no, I think ultimately though this probably is a positive for the overall ecosystem, especially in the mobile space as that continues to grow, not only in the gaming but just people in general and their access to being able to get mobile phones, digital stuff. I think this is going to be a W.
Yeah.
Pop, what do you got for us?
Well, Game Informer just did a interview with a couple of the folks over at SEGA to talk about Shinobi Art of Vengeance. I was particularly interested in their the Power Surge section of their interview where they were talking about um the revival of IPs, and they actually said that if Shinobi does well, they will absolutely put more into the IP to keep it going. Now, this isn't necessarily talking about just about the future of the game itself with having, more sequels or spin-offs. This is more so talking about what they've done for their current IPs, like, the Like a Dragon series has its own live action, Sonic and the movies, they all have like, all the other living IPs have merch. Um, and I think this is particularly interesting because when we started off the year and, I was introduced as co-host, I came in swinging talking about Sony's interview and they were like, well, we have all these remakes because we need the money to make you guys new games and new IPs. And Sony absolutely has other IPs that they could revive. And here you have Sega saying, oh, well, yeah, we need the money if we want to keep IPs like this going,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not sitting here making a bunch of remakes or remasters of the same 2 or 3 games. Oh, whatever Sony, however many games Sony has like remastered, PlayStation and Sony has remastered by now. But it's interesting to see how these two companies can be juxtaposed, and they're thinking of how they're going to make money to appeal to fans, as well as to reach their goal with this. Because Sega is going through an IP revival. I know last
Mm-hmm.
week y'all talked about Square Enix and the whole issue with. I hate that the Missing Link isn't coming out. I was looking forward to that game, but
I think it was
I
for the
just
best, though. To be honest, I really do.
I'm hoping that they somehow keep some of the ideas but change it around a little bit. But um yeah, it's that hurt. But Shinobi Art of Vengeance is coming out in August. I'm looking forward to it. I will probably promote this game quite a bit because I actually would look forward to seeing what they end up doing with what they mentioned here in this interview about the IP revival and seeing how the legacy of it goes. as well as the legacy of other IPs that are coming back. Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage are also coming back fairly soon as well. So
And before I get to my comments, I just Scyther says, is Shinobi really even an IP that can be used? It's a played out game type, or it's a character that hasn't anything taking them past 2D. What's the story? I played the game but don't remember.
yeah, it sounds like you just have to revisit the story, but it is an IP that people are looking forward
I,
to coming back.
yeah, which it's funny because I'm kind of in Scyther's boat in terms of I think the last Shinobi I played was on the Sega Genesis, maybe, or not the
Mhm.
was it on Sega or was it on Nintendo?
It depends on which one you would have played.
It, like the original Shinobi. It's probably the
Definitely would have
last.
been
Yeah.
on. Definitely would have been on a Sega console.
Okay.
But for the IP revivals that are coming out, there was a survey that was given out by Sega
Hmm.
in 2019. So all of these IP revivals that you see are the ones that succeeded in that survey that they gave out to us, and those that
Oh.
they continue to talk to. So to
Okay.
question Shinobi's relevance, I survey results.
Say
People wanted this
otherwise.
game back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is
people wanted this game back.
which is interesting because I don't really know a lot about Shinobi, the story. I never got that deep, within that like the lore or any of that stuff. I just remember it being hard. I remember the flipping and the jumping. This looks like a Shinobi game though. This looks cool.
Oh,
But
so it continues the story. So
oh,
they've been doing character posts and things. Um, there's one where it talks about Shinobi Revenge, and the ending there was kind of uh iffy because they were just like, oh well, what happens with those two, but Joe Musashi does actually end up getting married because it shows one of the character portraits shows one of his love interests and she's pregnant. I'm like, oh, they got married. They're about to have a child. This is actually exciting.
that's crazy.
uh,
Scyther says, I mean, or no, Scyther says, is there an actual story? Does this cycle have a
yeah,
reason why he's
there
going
is
around
an
town
actual
killing
story to it.
people? Or is this guy just need some professional help? I mean, I get that
No,
people might.
there's an actual story to it. I would recommend watching a YouTube video to really dig deep down into it because there are a couple of other games and spin-offs. So
I feel like that's a great way to find the lore out is finding because if there's a game or like an actual lore to something, someone has covered it on YouTube most likely. So that
yeah.
is a really good place to get lore details about a game. And that's something too that might, you know what I mean? Like maybe you check that out before like being like, all right, I don't understand why people would want this to be revived or whatever. Maybe getting into that lore gives you a better understanding as to why it's got the popularity that it does.
Yeah, because it builds on things from the first game. Because the what kicks off the game is Joe has his school of students and all of them are kidnapped, so he has to go find them, and rescue them from this group of terrorists. So
Yeah, and it's a little different though. I think Scyther because Frogger didn't have multiple games that continued with lore and a
right,
storyline and stuff like that. So like I can see because like even to me like a Jet Set or not Jet Set Radio, I'm sorry, but like Crazy Taxi, that game was hella fun. I don't was there a story? Would I play it now? I'd probably check it out for the nostalgia purposes, but like I wouldn't have a lot of expectations in terms of that. But again, that could be a great opportunity for them to take the opportunity to then build out this lore, build out this world. Like Pop was saying, now you got merch. Now you got a TV series. I think that kind of sounds like what Sega is looking to shift into. and then focusing on these
Yeah.
IPs.
And it's funny that you mentioned Crazy Taxi because there's not really a lore to it, and I think because of that, they kind of have to appeal to a new audience, which is like, yeah, you're gonna play this game where you do nothing. Now they have it to where it's like, I think they're adding online. It's gonna be open world. I'm just like, okay,
Mm, that's
they're
huge.
building on to something. It's gonna be pretty huge. Hopefully, we'll see something at Summer Games Fest because I believe it is slated for 2026. Um, with Shinobi, I'm wondering how this is going to come into the timeline of the games because you have Shinobi, Revenge of Shinobi, GG Shinobi, Shinobi 2, Shinobi 3, and then some of the sequels that came out later. So I'm wondering how, since this is a reboot of the series, I wonder how it's gonna uh I wonder how it's gonna appeal or play off in the entire timeline. Is it gonna be like a reset, or is it just gonna be like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and you know, again, that's where I think they have a unique, especially with a reboot, a unique opportunity to bring this old IP into today's time, where you're both hitting a nostalgia factor, but you're also having the opportunity to bring in a new audience, new game mechanics, new visuals, and stuff like that. So I think Sega is kind of spot on. With what they're doing and kind of their approach at this. I think there's a lot of great opportunities for them to expand on this, and this is kind of like that reintroduction, but also, you know, following along with the story. I feel like we're seeing more and more of that. I feel the same way with like
Mhm.
Dynasty Warriors Origins. You know, that essentially to me, I mean, that was like a prequel, but like that to me was a game that new audience could start off with, understand the
Absolutely.
lore much better than I understood in the other
Yeah.
games. You know, and like I got so much story out of that game. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So I like seeing these companies going back, bringing some of these old IPs, but not just being like, hey, let me just toss out this game. You remember this name of this game? Here's another one of it, and being like, here, let's do a reintroduction. Let's bring in a new audience with new mechanics, new visuals, all that good stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
and from the production department, Shimomura even states how, the idea of the company is that they want to grow and nurture their IPs, and that they believe IPs are supposed to evolve and expand. Cough, cough, wink, wink. Another company that is doing that with their IPs, and they're just sleeping in the graveyard. Um, but I think that's such an interesting mindset to have, and they have so many IPs coming back, and it's just like this idea of evolving and expanding. Like even with Virtua Fighter coming back, it's they're talking about adding a lore for the characters. I don't know if you played any like the super OG Virtual Fighter where you had to open up the booklet to read about the characters, but some of the
yeah.
background information was so bare bone and basic. Uh, at least the game was fun, but it's just like, man, I wish I knew like a little bit more about why these people were fighting and not just, oh, parents died, must enter the tournament,
Mm-hmm.
the end. Like,
Yeah.
like who wins the tournament? What are they really fighting for? Um, but I'll be interested to see how they go with this idea of um using a legacy IP and evolving it and expanding it, especially with all the technology they can do today. Because Shinobi looks great. I don't know if you've seen any of the other IPs that are arriving, but they look fantastic, and I'm looking forward to see how they go with this model of uh, nurture, growth, evolve, and expand with their IPs.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just talked about it. Whoops. I just talked about it the other day too, where we just got like a little snippet of
Mhm.
the character model of Snake Eyes, because there's a new GI Joe
Yeah.
Snake Eyes game coming out. Totally gave me like Shinobi vibes. is what I thought. I was like, dude, this is 3D Shinobi right here. So I'm excited to see what they do with the IP. I think they're going in the right direction, and even seeing what they do with the expansion beyond just the video games, and how they look to try to bring things into maybe the film realm or the TV realm, because we know it's coming. And then with that
Yeah.
is obviously going to come merch and other things that come with that as well. So I think it's exciting times for Sega, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing this Shinobi game coming out, and the success that they have. So I know we had one more topic that we wanted to talk about. Pop, I think you have more of a personal experience with this next one.
Do you want me to rip into Sony again?
I
After
mean,
I implied with the last comment I made.
I mean, we gotta let the people know.
Yeah. Unfortunately, PlayStation is ending their Stars program. If you are on the Xbox side of things, you might be familiar with their rewards program, which is 10 times better than what PlayStation was doing. The Stars program is ending. It will fully end on November 2nd of next year. I believe we can earn points and level up our status up until July 23rd. And after that date, all campaigns will end. But they recently revamped their program just a little bit to add more rewards for people to choose from. So this revamp is not something that happened a year ago. This was back, I want to say, late 2024 when they did it, or summer 2024. And if they're removing it, I'm wondering if they're going to come back with something new. What are they going to do? Because now uh, some people aren't going to be inclined to buy games on PlayStation. It's me on people. Um, unless we receive a key for certain things, because these stars were a way for people to save up money in their PlayStation wallet. They could get a free game if they had enough money, if they had enough points saved up. um it also did not require you to have PlayStation Plus, which is completely different than Microsoft's program, which I believe requires you to have Game Pass in order to fulfill those requirements. But I don't know, Smitty. What are your thoughts? Like, do you think it's because of the way the economy is and prices are going up, and PlayStation is just like, oh, too many people are getting games off our shelves for free. We must find a way to take their money? Or uh, do you think this is something where they're cutting the program, and it could be opening the door for a complete reboot? Since Microsoft does technically has the better, even though you have to have Game Pass, it's a better program. Like, all you have to do, if you play a game for a day on Microsoft, you get like 100 points. You do 100 points a
Oh,
day. After a certain amount of time, you can get a $5 gift card.
right. Which is, I mean, huge. It kind of reminds me of like the Play Vig thing, where people are able to
Hmm.
play and get real money, or get like physical things of value from it.
Hmm.
Which, obviously there's going to be a lot of value in that. And you saw what I thought was a lot of people from countries like Brazil and things like that. They were using it as a means of being able to get income and stuff.
Yep.
So I could definitely see where the impact of losing something like this would hurt. To be honest, me personally, I don't really use either one of them, and that's not because like they're not good or there's not things in there that I want. I just don't think about it. It's the same thing with
Fair
Nintendo's.
enough.
I forget. I'm sitting there literally collecting points on
Yeah,
Nintendo,
Nintendo
and I
got rid of their
never use
points, which
them.
I'm not. Don't
Yes.
even get me started on that.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But like, that
I
was the
had
only
two
one
free
that I
games
ever
that I could
used
got before
points.
they got rid of it. I'm just like, wow, like, my god.
Yeah, Mr.
Okay.
Haseo was level 4. I was speaking to him the other
Yeah, I'm
day.
also level 4, so
Yeah, and I feel bad because I feel like I'm part of the problem because I didn't use it and at least try to help, because it's at least a cool system to where you're already playing games, you get rewards for games that you're already playing. Some of them may be cool, or like we said, they could be transferable into real life things or monetary things. So I'm hoping, like you're saying, Pop, that maybe this is making way for something different. But like, this only came out like what, 2 years ago. They were testing beforehand, but like, this is relatively new still from the PlayStation side of having a reward system. So it is, for me, disappointing if they don't come back at
Yeah.
least with something to be able to. And it sucks because I feel like maybe this decision was made just because they looked at the numbers and were like, not enough people are using this. Why are we putting any resources or more
Or they might have
resources?
listened to the survey feedback, because I know some people. If we're being completely honest, it
Hmm.
never truly reached its full potential of what it should have been as a loyalty program. It wasn't very fruitful. I Between the two, it is much quicker to get $5 through Xbox rewards than it is with PlayStation.
Hmm.
Um Now, I do recall in their blog they're, looking for more ways to create a more fruitful loyalty program that will please the users, but I'm wondering what they're going to do, since most of their loyalty program was based on the amount of money spent, whereas Microsoft,
Hmm.
it's based on, you have to spend money to get Game Pass and then play games in order to get points. So Sony is going to have to come up with something. I think in order to appeal to gamers, one, don't paywall it.
Right.
Uh, Two, because it's not paywalled, absolutely have more opportunities to earn points through gaming, since that's what we're using the console for.
Yeah.
Or since you have all these other apps, you can use Discord through PlayStation, and Discord has all of these different
They have.
PlayStation events where just like,
Yeah.
yeah, play Fortnite in a VC chat on your PlayStation for 15 minutes and get this. PlayStation could say, "Oh, you've completed this Discord quest.
Hmm.
Here's 20 points, 50 points, however
The
many points."
double dip.
Yeah, and there's so much that they can do to make it more appealing, and literally, knock Microsoft down a couple of notches to, I don't want to say do the exact same, but bring back in that competitiveness,
Hmm.
to where both loyalty programs can feel super fruitful at the same time.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And they all kind of have variations of that
Yeah.
stuff. And you're right. I'm less inclined to participate in something like that if it's based strictly on me purchasing games. I would rather
Yeah.
it be a system where it's like, hey, you play X game or play X amount of hours and you get things, because that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm
Mhm.
on the platform in the first place, is to play games.
And
Reward me
if
for
they
that.
really want it to be fruitful, the points need to be on the cent of how much you spend. If you spend $69 on the game, that needs to be not 690 points. That makes no sense.
Right. That's less. That's
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
way
what?
less.
Like, that
Like,
conversion.
the points needs to match the money spent. Now, if you buy a game on sale, they they have to work it out, because there's no reason
Right.
why I can understand if I spent like $2 and I only get 20 points.
Right.
Sure, whatever. But if you're spending close to $100 and you're not even getting 1,000 points, what is the point?
That's crazy. Because like I mean,
Or
because I would
10,000
think,
points? What is the point?
yeah, yeah. I was like, yeah, I was like, that is a huge drop off. Like, what? But yeah, that's essentially how I look at that too. It's like essentially 1 cent is 1 point. right? So
Yeah.
that it should at least equate to that. Or if you're spending more or doing something in bulk, why not do some bonus points for spending X amount of dollars or whatever? You know, there's a lot of opportunities
Yeah,
there
they can
that.
have incentives like, oh, uh, we're having a sale. Purchase a game during the sale and get bonus points. There's so many different things they can do. How many points
Mhm.
for a $5? If you want the $5 in your PlayStation wallet, it's like 1,250 points.
That's insane. That doesn't even make
Yep.
sense. Like that
Yep.
conversion rate is crazy.
And it takes longer to get to 1,250 cents, even if you buy a game.
See, that's a, well, that in itself is problematic. Like you can't have a system like this. Hey, we're here. We want to reward you for the games or for buying games or playing games, but we're gonna rig the system and make it super hard for you
And
guys to
and
actually get
here's how it works,
anything out of
right?
this.
So I'll do, let's say, like, you buy V-Bucks, right? And you
Mm,
go with the bare minimum 1,000.
mm-hmm,
You only get 96 points. But to get 1,000 V-Bucks, because it's $8 on in the Epic store, because
mm-hmm.
they increased everything. It's like
Yeah.
$9 with tax. So I'm not
It,
even getting on the cent of what I spent.
yeah, that is. That is. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. I don't like it one bit. That's the thing too, and that's why too. I think we are gonna see, more regulation and stuff coming in this space because there are some people and some practices, especially when you start looking at gacha games and stuff. My daughter tried playing a dumb Minions game. Dude, there were so many pop-ups. She couldn't even get to the game. I had to help her get to the game and
Oh,
exit
no.
out of all the pop-ups. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And that's
Oh,
where it No, go ahead, go ahead.
I just thought about, I also hated the PlayStation tournaments, because with fighting games they had different tournaments and it was connected to PlayStation, and you
Mhm.
only got 25 points if you participated. I mean, you mean to tell me
That's
all you got to
crazy.
do is hop in and lose and you only get 25 points? Do you realize how competitive fighting games are? Are you out
Right.
of your mind?
Right. Say the value's not there. It's
And
like
if you
what's the
win,
point?
what do you don't get bonus points. So what's the point? I'm not playing for 25
You get
points.
50 points. That is crazy. You can't even buy a sticker, a digital sticker I'm talking about. Not a real life one. Yeah, we can see they clearly need to go in and revamp that system because just hearing it again, I might have used it once or twice, but I never purchased anything from it, and I never went out of my way to make sure that hey, let me see what the quests or whatever are. So hopefully they come back with something that's actually going to give better value to players and gamers and make it an actual reward system, not just a way to get more hours in the games for people while giving people freaking peanuts. You know what I mean? Give
Yeah.
it some actual value. And the people will come. That's what the TLDR is for that. Hopefully that's the lesson that they learned, and they're just going in and being like, let's just take it offline for right now. We're gonna retweak it, do all that stuff, come out with it again, bigger, better, stronger. So good stuff. Is there any other topics that we wanted to touch on that you had? I know there was a lot this week.
No, I think that was the big one. I don't know if you had anything else bigger. It's been some good stuff this week.
No, there again. I think we touched on the biggest stories so far from this week. Again, thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate it. This is episode 246. Again, don't forget, go follow, subscribe, do all that stuff. Go on. It's really important too and helpful if you hop onto these podcasting platforms. Give us a review. Let us know your thoughts. If you want to go that deep, you love us, you hate us. We want to hear it all. Do it. But we appreciate you guys again. Don't forget, you can go check out all kinds of great gaming content along with the podcast on comfreaks and geeks.com. Pop, again, thank you so much for the time. What do you got planned for this week? You got anything interesting or just keeping it chill?
I'm pretty much chilling this week. Nothing too interesting. Yeah, no, I got nothing.
Yeah, no, I am also in my recharge era right now, so I'm
Yeah.
not I got no plans. I'm trying to bank and basically, give me loan me your energy so I can prepare for what's to come. But yeah,
Right.
I'm just keeping it chill as well. There's a lot of cleaning plans and just rearranging and stuff like that I want to get done. Obviously, games to play. But again, we appreciate you guys joining us. Don't forget to follow all that good stuff from the Game Cast. We will see you guys next week. Bye.